What's up guys, welcome back to a new video. So here we are after the gameplay once again, third video of the night I'm recording here. This one's going to be about wildcard factions, and this one, no one is talking about this. Literally no one is talking about this right now, and I don't know why. Wildcard factions were such a big deal in this game before, and we have not really seen anything of them in almost a couple years. I mean, it's now confirmed that the Renegades are actually the guys in the masks we thought might have been the Untainted. That's thrown out the window at this point now, because we saw them pull up in the truck and start fighting the Peacekeepers at the one building. I can show the scene probably if I haven't already.
Kill him! Beans, what the fuck?
So we have not seen any other factions as of yet besides the Renegades, Peacekeepers, and Survivors. That's a little bit disappointing. Maybe they're just saving them for the actual game, which would be nice. We've seen some other possible characters that may be faction leaders or something. There was one guy that looked like he might be a leader in the Dying to Know episode 4, I believe it was. But it is just a bit disappointing because one of the things we saw in the gameplay was where you could either pick between the Peacekeepers or Survivors to designate an area to, and it seems like it's going to be like that throughout all the 7 districts. So it's going to come to a question, are we going to be able to give any areas to smaller factions like we thought we might have been able to? Because that was something they actually directly stated when we were given a couple scenarios. The one I remember is the pool takeover. Basically there's like some pool area and it's going to be a fight between the Peacekeepers, Survivors, and the Untainted between who gets to keep the area, and you end up actually being able to dictate who gets this area, and they all ended up taking over the area and using it for different reasons. I believe the Survivors used it for a biofuel production center, maybe wrong on that, and the Peacekeepers used it, I know for sure, as a combat training area, and the Untainted actually used it to grow drug enhancements. And that's pretty much the last time, like I said, we've really heard anything about wildcard factions. And it's been a little bit disappointing to me because that's one of my most look forward to features of this game. Now, I still think they're in the game. I mean, I'm going to have to assume that even though we haven't heard anything. I would think they would probably tell us if they weren't. But just think about this for a second, guys. We went through all of the Dying to Know episodes, nothing about wildcard factions. We went through the new gameplay, nothing about wildcard factions. It's surprising we have heard literally nothing about wildcard factions in a few years. So as of this point, I'm guessing they're going to play a small role in some areas and some decisions to take over some areas. But I'm assuming they're not going to be able to really take over any of the 2 main factions, the Peacekeepers or Survivors. That's just kind of the feel I'm getting of it right now, just based on the new gameplay. You know, we got to pick between the 2 factions, the 2 main ones, which area they get. It's seeming like one of those 2 factions is going to be the one we have to end up going with. It would be sweet if I could end up siding with the Untainted, but I don't know if I see that happening right now. Just, we haven't seen anything about them. I mean, maybe it's possible, but I'm starting to doubt it. I don't know if you would consider the Night Runners a wildcard faction. I personally really am not considering them a wildcard faction. They seem like more of a creed than a faction, to be honest with you. Also, going back a couple years, bounty hunters, we don't know if those are still going to be a thing. We just haven't seen anything about them, like I said, in a few years, even though they were mentioned. So there really is so much that we don't know about this game right now. I mean, we've learned a lot, but at the same time, we've barely learned anything, which is definitely still a good thing, but it just brings some doubts into my mind of how much of an effect maybe the wildcard factions actually are going to have. Well, we do have, I guess, now considering it, the bandits. Jack and Joe are definitely would be considered bandits, I would think. I wouldn't really consider them a wildcard faction just because they aren't really connected. I mean, bandits are kind of on their own as far as I know in the game. So I guess you can kind of half count that because they definitely are going to have a big effect like we saw at the water tower. That's going to be pretty much it. Let me know down below what you think really is going to happen with the wildcard factions. Do you think they're taken out of the game? Do you think their implementation is just going to be less? Let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one.